Have you ever really listened to the voice inside your head? Not the one that reminds you to do chores, but the one that quietly critiques you. It's the voice that says you're not good enough, that magnifies every mistake. Research shows that up to 80% of our thoughts are negative. Imagine 4 out of 5 thoughts working against you. This isn't just background noise, it's the soundtrack of our lives, shaping how we see ourselves. We often accept this inner critic as truth, but it's just a story we've learned from past hurts and pressures. Recognizing this voice is the first step to changing the conversation. We live in a world that rewards perfection and punishes vulnerability, making it easy for negative self-talk to take root. We internalize criticism until it becomes our own, holding ourselves to impossible standards. This dialogue becomes automatic, and we rarely notice it, only its effects. Media, person going through daily routine, absent-minded, not fully present, man walking outside, distracted and lost in thought. Anxiety, feeling stuck, believing we're flawed. The journey to a better mindset starts with paying attention and becoming curious about our inner stories. It's about gentle awareness, shining a light on our thoughts with compassion. Only by truly listening can we begin to change the tune and transform our inner soundtrack. Negative self-talk is the inner dialogue that limits your potential and chips away at your self-esteem. It's the voice that says you're not smart, attractive, or capable enough, often disguised as realism. This pattern is common, a byproduct of our brain's tendency to focus on threats and remember negatives. Negative thoughts fall into patterns, catastrophizing, personalization, and all-or-nothing thinking. For example, a small mistake becomes a disaster, or you blame yourself for things beyond your control. These voices often echo critical parents, teachers, or society's impossible standards. We speak to ourselves in ways we'd never speak to a friend. Imagine if you offered yourself the same compassion you give others. The key is realizing this voice is a learned habit, not a fact. It's a mental program running on autopilot, and it can be rewritten. The goal isn't to silence the critic, but to notice it, acknowledge it, and choose a kinder response. You become the gatekeeper of your mind, deciding which thoughts stay. This is where real transformation begins. Negative self-talk builds the walls of self-doubt, brick by brick. When your inner voice constantly questions your abilities, you start to believe it. This creates a cycle. You avoid risks, miss opportunities, and reinforce your doubts. Self-doubt becomes a heavy chain, holding you back from growth. Low self-esteem follows as you see yourself through a distorted lens, focusing on flaws and dismissing strengths. Compliments feel undeserved, successes like flukes. This isn't just a feeling, it shapes your behavior. You might avoid social situations, settle for less, or neglect your needs. The loop is powerful. Negative thought leads to self-doubt, which leads to avoidance, which reinforces the original belief. Breaking the chain means challenging beliefs you've held for years. Recognize that doubt and low worth are symptoms. The real issue is the negative self-talk. Address the root cause and you can start to rebuild authentic self-worth. Change your self-talk and you dissolve the chains of self-doubt. Self-criticism is the enemy of growth. Growth requires vulnerability and the willingness to make mistakes. But a harsh inner critic turns mistakes into proof of inadequacy, making us risk-averse. We stop trying new things, stop raising our hands, and miss out on experiences that help us grow. Imagine a child learning to walk. If they had a relentless critic, they'd give up and never learn. As adults, we do the same, choosing safety over growth. Self-criticism also kills creativity. It censors ideas before they're formed and keeps our potential locked away. A life dominated by self-criticism is a smaller life, lived in the shallow end. We miss out on the joy of learning, the thrill of overcoming challenges, and the connection that comes from sharing our true selves. To grow, we must cultivate inner compassion and encouragement. Be your own cheerleader. Celebrate effort, not just outcomes. Treat yourself with the kindness you'd offer a friend learning to walk. Growth flourishes in an environment of self-support, not self-judgment. Choose encouragement over criticism, and watch yourself expand. The first step in changing your relationship with your inner critic is mindfulness. Mindfulness means paying attention to the present moment without judgment, becoming an observer of your thoughts. Most of us are swept away by our thoughts, but mindfulness teaches us to step back and watch them float by. Notice your thoughts. There's a thought about not being good enough. This creates space between you and your thoughts, giving you the power to choose your response. Thoughts are not truths or commands. They're just mental events. You don't have to believe everything you think. Question the narrative. Is this thought true? Is it helpful? Start small. Take a moment to notice your thoughts without trying to change them. Label them gently: planning, worrying, judging. Each time you observe a negative thought without getting lost in it, you weaken its power. Over time, you'll recognize the inner critic more quickly and respond with awareness. This isn't about fighting your thoughts, but changing your relationship to them. You become a compassionate observer, in charge of the conversation. This is the foundation for all positive change. After noticing the negative narrative, the next step is to rewrite it with positive affirmations. Affirmations are simple, positive statements you choose to believe. They may feel awkward at first, but they're about planting seeds, not expecting instant change. Make affirmations believable and meaningful. Focus on effort and growth, not perfection. For example, I am learning and growing every day, or I can handle challenges. Integrate affirmations into your daily routine. Write them on sticky notes. Say them in the morning or at night. Repetition is key. New thought patterns require consistency. Each affirmation carves a new, supportive pathway in your mind. Affirmations are a gentle rebellion against your inner critic. When the critic says, "You can't," your new script says, "I can do hard things." This isn't magical thinking. It's a conscious choice to change your internal environment. You are the author of your story. Affirmations help you write a kinder, braver narrative. Cognitive restructuring takes rewriting your script further. It's about becoming a detective of your thoughts, challenging negative beliefs with evidence. Start by catching a distressing thought, like, "I'm incompetent." Ask, "What's the evidence for and against this thought?" Recall your successes and positive feedback to counter the negative. Reframe. Instead of "I mess everything up," try "I made a mistake, but it doesn't define me." This approach moves you from shame to constructive action. Practice catching, checking, and changing your thoughts. Write them down if it helps. You're training your brain to question negativity and choose a balanced perspective. This is how you take the bully's megaphone away. Meet Sarah, a talented designer trapped by her inner critic. She doubted her creativity, turned down opportunities, and worked herself to exhaustion. Even praise felt like a fluke. Her self-talk was a cage. The turning point came after a glowing review clashed with her self-doubt. She realized her inner critic wasn't telling the truth. Sarah started practicing mindfulness, noticing her thoughts without judgment. She used cognitive restructuring, challenging her negative beliefs with evidence. Affirmations replaced her to-do lists. "My creativity is valuable." She took risks, shared new ideas, and found success, internally and externally. The critical voice grew quieter. She responded with self-compassion. Sarah's story shows that changing self-talk transforms not just your work, but your whole life. By shifting her narrative, she became happier, freer, and more authentic. Your internal world shapes your reality. Change your self-talk, and you change your life. We've explored the roots of the inner critic and the chains it forges. Negative self-talk fuels doubt and holds us back, but there's a path forward. This journey isn't about constant positivity. It's about shifting from self-criticism to self-compassion. Mindfulness, affirmations, and cognitive restructuring are daily practices, not quick fixes. Mindfulness helps you notice the story. Affirmations plant new seeds. Restructuring challenges the inner bully. Together, they transform your internal narrative from shame to resilience. Reflect. What's your most common negative story? When is your critic loudest? What's one small, compassionate step you can take today? The power is in small, consistent choices. Embracing your whole, imperfect self is the ultimate act of courage. Your worth isn't defined by perfection. You are worthy as you are. Treat yourself with compassion, and you unlock your potential to live and love fully. The world needs your unique gifts. Don't let your inner critic silence them. Start the conversation with yourself today.